So let's have a talk about slump time. So I'm seeing quite a few people posting about their kid being in a slump. The first thing I want to remind you is that slumps are normal. Like y'all, for some reason, forget that slumps are... You might be in the slump right now as a grown-ass human. You might have just gotten out of a slump. No, it's not sports, but still you're in a slump. Like, slumps are so normal. And we forget to talk about them as normal. We forget that we experience them. But when the kids have them, it's like this huge, dire straits of like, oh my God, there's a slump. Maybe it's normal. And the problem that is happening is that because you're not normalizing slumps, the kids feel like they're on their slump island and that they're the only person this happens to. And no one else is having slumps, only them, and that they're horrible and all that. Please tell them they cannot hate themselves out of a slump. You cannot hate yourself out of a slump. Tell them that. So I was listening to something, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and they talked about kind of the 1/3. The first third, everything is going to be magical. All the time. Magical when you're playing. You go past the ball and you barely put your arm out and that thing is pink, and it's just, you're playing beautifully. Then you have the middle third where it's tough, but you're making through. You're still doing really good things. You're proud of yourself. And then you have the bottom third where you're just in slumpville. And it's just really hard. Everything's not going to be perfect. And if we normalize that everything's not always going to be perfect, it's going to help people understand that they're not alone. They're not isolated. They're not the only one that's happening to. That it happens to everyone. Then the idea is that they're going to look at slumps and say, what are baby steps I can do to get out of it? Because you can't hate yourself out of a slump. You can't talk crap to yourself out of a slump. That's going to make you deeper into the slump. Never will hatred of self take you out of the slump. And so I see a lot of parents who are like, tell me what to do. Baby, you can't do nothing. Like, this shouldn't be a, what can I do? This should be, who can I have help my kid? Because you trying to give your general words of praise are going to help your kid get worse. The kids aren't going to listen to you. So instead of saying, well, let me just say all these things. No, don't do that. Don't do that. How can we help them, but also normalize it? I guarantee if you normalize it and say, let's start making baby steps to get out, even if it means you're on the bench now. Even if it means you're not playing the position you want. Even if it means you're playing a little bit of time. How do we baby step ourselves out of the slump? And start building the skill of positive self-talk, of understanding you're not the only person doing it, of looking at a self almost on like a, like not 3D, but like where you're looking at yourself that you're not you. You're like, okay, this person's in the slump. What things can they work on? They're in a passing slump. So they can focus more on their feet. They can work more on their arms. They can work more on their communication. Because usually when you're in a slump, what's going to go? Communication. You're going to stop talking. Everything's going to be internal. If you're in a hitting slump, let's focus on our footwork. Let's focus on having a good distance from the ball so that we can swing, not all super tight. If we're in a setting slump, let's focus on solid hand contact. Let's focus on knowing where our passers are, our body open up, follow through. Like, focus on the small things to baby step out of the slump. Because you're not going to leap and bounds out of a slump. It's just not going to happen. You got to baby step yourself out of it so that you have the memory to kind of think about, okay, I'm starting to get into a slump. Let me focus on that platform. Let me focus on communication. Let me focus on the hands. That's the way you get out of a slump. You're not going to friggin' high jump or long jump yourself out of a slump. You're not going to talk crap to yourself so much that you get out of the slump. It's not going to happen that way. You got to be kinder and gentler to yourself, and you have to baby step yourself out of it. But parents, this ain't about you. So every time you come on, you're like, what do I need to do? What can I say? What advice? It's not you. Nothing. You're not going to be the person to get your kid out the slump. In some ways, because kids don't like listening to their parents, you're going to make them crawl even more inside. And they're not going to want to listen to anything you say. So you got to stop making it about yourself. And really start talking to them of like, okay, this makes sense. Start talking to your coach about what baby ways you can start thinking about it. Y'all record 1 million minutes of film. Have them watch that film. Not as like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. But okay, let me look at my footwork. Let me look at my hands. Let me look at my eyes. Let me look at. And they're watching themselves and scouting themselves. and seeing where the baby steps can occurring to move forward. Do that type of stuff. But remember, tell them they cannot hate themselves out of a slump. They're just going to go deeper into Slumpville. And parents, you're not going to be able to give the advice to get them out. I know you love your kids, but this ain't about you. Get them the help, sports psychologist, private lessons to work on small things, but this ain't in your wheelhouse, and it's okay to admit it. You can't be there for everything, and this is one of them.